If you are new to my channel, my name is Ohemaa. Welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, hey. You guys, I picked up the Danessa Myricks Groundwork Bloomin' Radiance during the Sephora collection sale. So today we are going to jump into this palette and see what we can create with it. Don't worry, all the products I'm going to be using on my eyes will be tagged right here, so definitely check that view products tag. If it's not there, I'm going to link it down below in the description box so that you can pick it up. Let's go ahead and jump into this and see what we can create with it. Like, I am so excited to see what I can do with this palette, okay? First, we're going in with the brows. We're using the Sephora Collection Brow Pencil in the shade Granite. This is the last bit product that I have, and that's why I picked up a new one. This is a Danessa Myricks Groundworks Bloomin' Radiance palette, and initially when I picked up this palette, I thought the shades are going to be so deep, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. It says that it's palette for your eyes, brows, face, and lips. Ooh, I wish I had read this. I probably would try to use it for my brows. This is what the Bloomin' Radiance palette looks like. We have a few deep shades, a few dark shades, a few medium tone, a few light shades. I picked up this palette because I feel like the color graduation in here was very evenly distributed, so that if you're as dark as me, you're still going to be able to use this palette. If you're lighter than me, you're going to be able to use this palette. There are shades in here you can use to transition, to contour, for your brows, for your lips. You can literally use this palette for everything. I'm going to use this palette to contour my face. We're using this shade right here. That shade is deeper than the contour I already put down, so it's definitely going to be a deep palette. I love a palette that you can use for anything and everything. I am one of those people that whenever I started doing makeup, certain products just didn't go as deep as me, so I had to use eyeshadow palettes as my contour. And if you know, I was a Juvia's Place chocolate palette girly until she actually came up with actual contour palettes, and I didn't have to use that palette anymore. But that Juvia's Place palette was my go-to when it came to face contouring, okay? I will be using this shade actually as a nose contour a little bit down the line because I have too much powder on my face right now. I can't use it. When you pick up the palette, it comes in this gorgeous burgundy casing, and it has all the information you could possibly need about the palette on the back of it, and it tells you that you can use it for your eyes, your lips, and your face. This is what the actual palette looks like. Literally mimics the palette itself. Being the Ghanaian that I am not going to remove this plastic off the metal plating because I don't want to scratch this. This piece of plastic is going to stay here until Kingdom Come, okay? So every time I pick it up, you're gonna think it's a new palette, but it's not. On the back of it, you still have all the info you could possibly need. And when you open it, you have a mirror on the inside, and then you have all the gorgeous shades in here. Each well is removable, so you can remove it if you want. I'm not gonna pop mine out because knowing me, I'm going to pop this out. It's gonna fall, crack, and just get everywhere. I don't want that. Let's go ahead and prep the eyes for the look. Because I have oily skin, I like to go in with an eyeshadow primer. Right now I'm using the MAC Cosmetics eyeshadow base, they call it, but it's an eyeshadow primer because it's not going to cover my eyelids enough for me to do the kind of eyeshadow look that I want to do, so that my oils are in check and my eyeshadow will stay in place all day long. So if you find that you get creases in your eyeshadow, definitely go in with an eyeshadow primer before you do your concealer or your eyeshadow base before you do your eyeshadow. I also like to apply my eyeshadow primers with my fingers because it just melts in better and fills in very nicely compared to if I use a brush. I feel like it just doesn't give me the same results. I can feel it drying down and it's getting tacky. So I'm just gonna use a regular concealer. This is not a skin tone concealer for me. This is a very bright concealer. That's not a skin tone concealer. It's gonna give me some brightness to the skin or to the eyes. That way my eyeshadow will pop. Okay, first things first, I'm going into this shade. It is a gorgeous mauvey, kind of a pinkish shade, and I'm going to place the shadow in my crease and just blend up towards my brows, but I'm not physically going to take the color to my brows, okay? This is just going to be like a light transition shade so that all the other colors I'm going to place on there will have something else to help transition them. Ooh. Ooh. I have to find out what the tiny shades in here are. But at least from blending it on my eyes, from what I just noticed, this has less of a pigment than this one. As soon as I put this on, you can see the pigment is showing up a lot more, okay? So from just playing with the palette and not knowing anything about it, this tiny one has more pigment compared to the big one. Honey, okay. Now, let me stop right here because I have the habit of not learning about certain things before I go into it. The reason why I felt like it wasn't coming off intensely is because the big palettes, the big pans are creamy palettes that essentially set themselves as soon as you use it. I push my finger into it, it makes a well. I didn't need an eyeshadow base to use this. I feel like I could probably put this directly onto my eyes and it would have set itself. I'm just afraid that I will make a mess with this. It dries down very quickly and it's very buttery smooth. You don't need an eyeshadow base to use this palette if you're going to be using the creamy side. I just went over to Danessa Myrick's Instagram page and found somebody just poking their fingers in the palette. So I figured, let me see what it does. Okay, we have to restart this again. I am going to wipe off this eye, the eyelid, and use the palette straight up on this eye, okay? Yeah. We need to do this palette justice because I know whoever told me to try this palette, we're just trying to figure out how we can use it to its fullest potential, right? I'm gonna leave this eye as our eyeshadow base side. So if you're somebody who wants to go in with a base and you just want to be able to, you know, use it as quickly as you possibly can and you only want to use the powder side, this side is for you. If you want to use this palette in its entirety, this side is going to be for you. Next, I'm going in with our eyeshadow primer because I still need a good primer on the lids. So for the creamy side, you're gonna need a brush that can pick up and blend creamy formulas like a concealer brush. Concealer brushes are a bit more dense and the bristles on it are very good for picking up and blending cream products. So that's what we're gonna use. I was using the shade initially, right? So I'm gonna go into it. And as you can see, it's like I can make a hole in it because it is a creamy formula. And as soon as it touches the skin, it just turns dry. Like it just dries down on the eyes. Like you don't need a base for this. Also, I feel like doing it this way, it can definitely overwhelm the eyes. Wow. I like this. I like it for the simple fact that I don't have to force build anything on the eyes. It is already there. The shades, the pigment, everything, it's already in there. You don't have to do too much. You don't even have to set it because it sets itself, right? And just like that, I have overdone it. I'm going to use the other side of this brush to blend the edges of this because once it goes on, it sets itself and becomes very much like a powder. So it's still going to be very easy for you to blend the outer edges out. As you can see, it's very much blendable. Like, I don't know what I'm doing over here anymore. Like, I like this. This will literally give you a one color application. Let's go in with another creamy shade. We're going in with this creamy shade to define the crease. Okay, so on this eye, I think I'm only gonna use the cream product. And then I'll try to replicate the same look with the powder product on this other eye. You can build it up, okay? You don't have to dig into it. You can just build it up as you go. The plan has completely changed and we're just rolling with the punches right now. I'm going to be careful because I wanted to do a cut crease type of a look. And because these products are already creamy, I don't have to do too much. I'm just gonna keep this product in the crease and just blend up a little bit. I can literally see myself traveling only with this palette. I'm using the blend and brush side to just blend the outer edges again so that we can get soft lines. Let's go into the deepest shade that they have to offer. And we're going to try to put that only in the crease area. I hate that I'm digging into this palette. Absolutely hate that. But we're just going to line only the crease just to make it more defined. I'm cheating a little bit. I'm taking a little bit of this powder shade and I'll use that to blend the outer edges of the deeper shade that we just put down. Wow, this is nice. Okay, Miss Danessa, I'm here for it. The same shades we just used, but on the powder side. First, we're going in with this shade, the powder shade version of the one that we just used, and we're going to place it all over the eyelid. I have a feeling I'm going to prefer using the cream on my skin tone, and then if I needed to, I could set it. But with the way this product is, I don't need to set it. Also, I thought if you wanted a more intense look, you had to go in with the powder, but it looks like if you want a more intense look, you have to go in with the cream version of this product, and then if you wanted to tone it down, you could use the powder version of this product. Next, we're going into this shade first because that was the next shade we went in with, and we're going to use that to intensify the crease. I'm using a tapered brush so that it gives me more precision over where I need to put my product. Yeah, Xander, stop. I'm trying to work. We're going into the deeper shade on this palette. Of course, we're going with the powder one to see whether we can intensify, and we can. Intensifying the crease a lot more. Okay, I really wanted to do something on the light side, so I'm taking this shade in the palette and I'm gonna put it on the inner corner part of this look. I'm gonna use it to cut the crease a little bit more. So we're gonna have like a slight gradient to this look to where a lighter shade is blending into a deeper shade. I'm using the same powder shade, this one, to intensify the color on the outer corner of the eye. Next, we're going into this shade and we will use it to apply the lighter shade on the inner corner of this eyeshadow look. I'm gonna go ahead and line my eyes using the Sephora Collection Precision Eyeliner. I have 3 just chilling in my kit, and no, Sephora Collection does not send me PR, so this is not from PR. This is products I pick up every time there is a sale because I know I like to use it and I like to have backups to my backups, okay? This is a brand new Morphe Byliner. I want to call it a bliner. The reason being, one side is a regular liner, as you can see, a gorgeous type of a liner, and the other side of this is a shimmering liner, okay? So it's a blinding liner. Anyway, I'm using this byliner. It has yours and mine on this. I'm taking this dark creamy shade. We're gonna put it on the lower lash line and just smoke it out. We're gonna put it on the lower. Is this why my cream products fail me? I feel like the powder will have more payoff on the lower lash line. Okay, let's use the powder version of that deepest shade to blend the lower lash line. I'm using the Thrive Cosmetics Tube-in Mascara. So now we're gonna go in with the blush. Of course, this says that it's a palette you can use for both the face and your lip. Okay, we're going into this shade to use as our blush, and I'm just putting my brush in both the cream and the powder. Oh, it's very mild. It definitely matches my eyeshadow for sure. Put some on the nose and let's do the other side. I'm gonna set with the Urban Decay All Nighter setting. So this is my finished look using the Danessa Myrick Groundwork Bloomin' Radiance palette. I am in love with this palette. I'm in love with the look. This is one of those palettes that you can travel with, like it is that girl. I do feel that I need to pick up the nudes palette because with that palette, I can make this palette absolutely dominate. It is beautiful. The creams in there are fantastic. I prefer the creams in this look, but I could definitely see how or when the mattes will also have their moment because the mattes are given sultry Addams Family Morticia vibes. Like, this is sexy. The mattes is given grown and sexy. The creams are given vibrant and playful. I am here for them both. Catch me on any day with 2 different shaded eyes because it looks beautiful. It is gorgeous. Now, would I recommend you pick up this palette? Absolutely. Like, you can do so many things with this palette. Your lips, your eyes, your face. I am here for it. So whoever asked me to review this palette, thank you. Let me know down below in the comments if you've picked up this palette. If not, would you be picking it up? I know that right now Sephora is having Cyber Week, so every day something is off 30% off. Thank you so much for watching. Love you lots, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.